It started with a slap loud enough to silence a diner. A proud bully mocking a quiet man in a faded jacket. No one knew who that man really was. No one noticed the small tattoo on his forearm, a mark that whispered of battles fought in shadows, of loyalty, loss, and blood. But when the truth came out, that same bully wished he'd never raised his hand. Stay with me till the end, because this story isn't just about strength, it's about restraint, honor, and the quiet power of those who've seen too much to ever need to prove themselves again. The Blue Ridge Diner sat off a lonely stretch of highway, the kind of place where the coffee was strong, the pancakes thick, and the regulars knew each other by name. That morning, Jack Turner sat by the window, a half-empty cup in front of him and his 8-year-old son, Ben, quietly coloring beside him. Jack's clothes were simple, his hair close-cut, and his eyes carried a distant calm that came only from men who'd seen things most couldn't imagine. He was a single father now. His wife had passed 3 years earlier, cancer. Since then, it had just been Jack and Ben against the world. He never talked much about his past, not about the countless missions, the lost brothers, or the tattoo on his arm, a black dagger crossing through an arrow, surrounded by the words, "Did oppressively bear." It was more than ink. It was a mark of who he used to be, Delta Force, one of the few, one of the silent. Ben was giggling softly as he drew a picture of their old pickup truck when the door burst open. 3 men walked in, loud, arrogant, and clearly looking for trouble. The ringleader, Randy Colton, was a local bully who loved showing off for his friends. Big, broad, and fueled by beer and ego, Randy's favorite sport was humiliating people he thought were weaker than him. He spotted Jack sitting quietly and smirked. Well, look who's back. "Oh, old Turner the loner," he said loudly. "Didn't you used to be in the army or something? What happened, they kick you out?" Jack didn't respond. He just sipped his coffee, eyes steady on the window. Ben shifted uncomfortably. "Dad, can we just go?" he whispered. Jack smiled softly. "Finish your drawing, buddy. Almost done, right?" But Randy wasn't done. He walked closer. "I'm talking to you, soldier boy," he sneered. "What's that tattoo mean? You part of some tough guy club?" Jack's hand tensed slightly around his cup. "It's just a memory," he said quietly. Randy leaned in, his voice dripping with mockery. "A memory? Looks more like a wannabe's mark to me. You don't scare me, tough guy." The diner had gone silent. The waitress froze behind the counter. Everyone knew Randy was pushing too far, but no one dared to interfere. Then Randy made the mistake of his life. He slapped Jack hard across the face. The sound echoed through the diner, plates clinking in the stillness that followed. Ben gasped. "Dad!" Jack didn't move. His jaw flexed, his eyes closing for just a second as if to hold back a storm. When he finally looked up, there was no rage, only calm. "Son," Jack said softly, "go sit with Miss Linda behind the counter." Ben hesitated. "Dad." Jack's voice remained even. "Go on, buddy. It's okay." The waitress hurried Ben away, her heart pounding. She'd seen that look before, not anger, not fear, but control. Randy laughed. "That all you got, soldier? No fight left in you?" Jack slowly stood up, the room holding its breath. His height, his posture, something about him changed in that moment. The quiet man who had looked ordinary now radiated presence, the kind of presence that made even the air feel heavier. Randy noticed the shift too, but his pride wouldn't let him back down. "What are you gonna do, huh?" Jack looked him dead in the eyes. "Walk away." Randy scoffed. "Or what?" Jack stepped closer, his voice low, calm, lethal. "Or I'll remind you why men like me don't need to prove anything." The bully blinked, unsure whether to laugh or back down. He chose wrong. In a blur faster than anyone could track, Jack moved. His hand deflected Randy's next swing effortlessly, his body turning with military precision. A second later, Randy's arm was twisted behind his back, face pressed against the counter. Jack didn't punch. He didn't scream. He just controlled him, calm, efficient, unshakable. The two friends froze, too stunned to move. Hey, man, we didn't mean nothing, one stammered. Jack looked at them coldly. Then take your friend and leave. Now. They grabbed Randy the moment Jack released him. As they scrambled out, Randy muttered curses under his breath until Jack's voice stopped him cold. You ever touch anyone in front of your kid again, Jack said quietly, and you'll wish I wasn't a patient man. Randy glanced back once at the tattoo, now visible on Jack's arm as his sleeve rolled up. His face drained of color. You're Delta, he stammered. Jack didn't respond. He didn't need to. The mark said everything. The moment they left, the diner exhaled in relief. People started whispering. The cook muttered, Delta Force, my brother served with one. Lord Almighty. Ben ran back to his dad, throwing his arms around his waist. Are you okay, Dad? Jack knelt, his voice soft again. Yeah, buddy. Sometimes walking away isn't weakness. But sometimes, you have to remind people that peace doesn't mean you forgot how to fight. The waitress, tears in her eyes, poured Jack a fresh cup of coffee. I had no idea who you were, she said. He smiled faintly. I'm just a dad trying to raise his boy right. Later, as they left the diner, Ben looked up at him. Dad, what's that tattoo really mean? Jack glanced at the sky for a moment, then down at his son. It means we protect people who can't protect themselves. Always have, always will. As they walked toward the truck, the diner crowd watched in silence, not out of fear, but respect. The story of that morning would spread across the small town like wildfire. People would whisper about the quiet veteran who stood tall without lifting a fist. About the bully who learned a lesson he'd never forget. And somewhere, in that diner filled with coffee and courage, honor was restored not through violence, but through restraint, strength, and dignity.